We good? All right. Good evening, everybody. For the record, Thursday, May 27th, 2021, excuse me. It is 5:15 p.m., time for the regular meeting of the Wenatchee City Council. We are out of executive session. I've called the meeting to order. We always start with a pledge to our flag. So Councilmember Bailey, would you lead us?
I will.
Thank you. Everyone rise.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Councilmember Bailey.
You're welcome.
And for the record this evening, we have all 7 council members present. Nice to see you all again. So we do have our consent items, which includes approval of the agenda with a couple of changes, vouchers and minutes from the previous meetings, and to adopt Resolution 2021-25.
Your Honor, I make a motion that we adopt the consent items, including this evening's agenda, and the agenda be revised as follows, that under action items, item B, Historic Preservation Board appointments, that be moved to action item E, and the items below then be subsequently re-lettered up. And that this motion includes approval of Resolution 2021-25, appointing 3 city council members as voting representatives on behalf of the city of Wenatchee at the Association of Washington Cities Annual Conference Business Meeting.
And also includes the vouchers and the minutes from the previous meetings.
And the vouchers and the minutes of previous meetings.
Second. Motion by Councilmember Kulas, second by Councilmember Hornby to adopt our consent items, including the agenda with the changes, moving item B to the last item before the public hearings and moving the rest up, approving our vouchers and minutes from their previous meetings, and to adopt Resolution 2021-25, appointing 3 city council members as voting representatives on behalf of the city of Wenatchee at the Association of Washington Cities Annual Conference Business Meeting. Any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. We have a couple of presentations tonight. The first is our Memorial Day proclamation. Councilmember Kulas, do you have that?
Yes, thank you, Your Honor. Whereas, since the inception of our country by the establishment of the United States Constitution, it has, on occasion, been necessary to protect the concepts of the Constitution. And whereas at times it became necessary to resort to armed conflict to protect these concepts, which give each citizen of the United States certain inalienable rights. And whereas citizens of our great country have given their lives in the protection of these inalienable rights. And whereas each year we set aside one day to which we revive the memory of those who have sacrificed and those who have passed on. Now, therefore, I, Frank J. Kuntz, Mayor of the City of Wenatchee, do hereby proclaim May 31, 2021 as Memorial Day in the City of Wenatchee, and I urge all citizens to join us in honoring their memory. In witness whereof, I cause the seal of the City of Wenatchee to be affixed on this 27th day of May, 2021. Frank J. Kuntz, Mayor.
Thank you, Councilmember Kulas. Dick, how are you, sir?
Good.
Nice. Got some new shoes. Look at those, huh?
Well, I knew you'd say something. You have to wear new shoes before you wear old. Here's a agenda.
Okay, so we're still 9 o'clock
9
up
o'clock,
here?
yeah.
10 o'clock on the ridge and then 11 in East Wenatchee?
No.
We're not doing East Wenatchee?
Yes, we're doing it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Bridget.
Oh, Bridge at 11.
Oh, well, that's why we got these.
Good.
Okay.
Perfect.
Okay.
All right, I'll see you then.
See you
Thanks,
then.
sir. I would have been at the wrong spot at the wrong time. And we have a presentation regarding Pride Month. Who has that one?
I have that.
Councilmember Esparza.
Yes. Let's see if I can pull through this without glasses. I've been really in denial the last few months. It's starting to catch up with me.
Would you like to borrow a pair?
No, I'm good. Whereas the month of June was designated Pride Month to commemorate the Stonewall riots which occurred in June of 1969 and are generally recognized as the catalyst of the LGBT rights movement. And whereas every individual is equal before and under the law and has the right to equal protection and equal benefits of the law without discrimination based on race, national, or ethnic origin, color, religion, sex, age, or mental or physical disability. And whereas the long and ongoing struggle to transgender, lesbian, gay, bisexual, and other sexual minorities for basic civil and human rights continues to provide inspiration to all. And whereas Wenatchee celebrates the history and diversity of our city's lesbian, gay, bisexual, and transgender community and promotes a society in which all residents can live free from discrimination. And whereas Pride Month is an opportunity to celebrate this harmony in which we coexist, now therefore I, Frank J. Kuntz, Mayor of the City of Wenatchee, do hereby proclaim the month of June 2021 as LGBTQ Pride Month in the City of Wenatchee and encourage everyone to eliminate prejudice everywhere it exists, respect the rights of all people, and to celebrate the great diversity of our city. In witness whereof, I have caused the seal of the City of Wenatchee to be affixed on this 27th day of May, 2021. Frank J. Kuntz, Mayor.
Thank you, Ruth. Is Carlos here? I don't see Carlos, so we did have someone that was going to come get that on behalf of the Pride group, so I will make sure that he gets it. And just for your information, the apple blossom flags will be going up, and they'll be coming down shortly after. And there's a, what's the right term, a diversity celebration flag going up shortly after that. So it'll be fun to see some of those in our downtown. All right, we do have a time. It's interesting now to actually accept citizen comment, because when we were doing this for a long time, we weren't in the COVID rules, but this is a time, and if any member of the audience would just wish to address the city council, feel free to come up. We'll give you about 3 minutes. We'd ask for your name and address for the record. I see a couple of takers, so we'll start with the woman on the right, and then we'll go to the back of the room. Perfect.
My name is Therese Howard, 2000 Squilchuck Road. I am here today because I'm looking for guidance on the homeless that are parking in my neighborhood now. And I have been working with the police and the traffic enforcer. And it doesn't seem to be changing a lot. I've also, when they started moving into my neighborhood, I started noticing a lot of abandoned cars also. And so I kind of took it on myself to start cleaning up the neighborhood. And I've got like a dozen cars that I had, through the help of the traffic person and also the police that have been off the road that were not running, or they were unlicensed, just left there. And then now that the
So were we able to get those towed?
not all of them, some of them.
Some of them we were able to, though?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, some
Okay.
of them they were. Then also now the motorhomes are coming in and they're not moving. And I was told that as long as they move their steering wheel or go up an inch, they couldn't be bothered. But that's not what the law says. Chapter 6B06-040, it's a 24-hour time limit, and it is unlawful for any person to cause, allow, commit, or suffer any vehicle to be parked upon the street for longer than 24 consecutive hours within the city of Wenatchee on all streets not otherwise regulated. It is the intent of this section to limit the parking of a vehicle to maximum 24 hours of parking time in any 1 block radius within the city of Wenatchee. For the purposes of this section, block means the portion of a street including both side streets and the intersections. That doesn't mean, there's nowhere that I can find that says if they tweak their steering wheel, that's okay. Or if they move up an inch, that's okay. Or if they go side to side, it clearly states that they can't do that. And I don't know how to proceed from here. A committee or maybe clarification to the traffic enforcer or the police or something. And I know it's becoming more and more problem. But the ones that are living down in my area, there's probably 5 or 6 of them within a 3 or 4 block area. And it's within 3 blocks of a school and a block of the park. And those are our children in that area, and I have also witnessed them engaging with school children walking home from Mission View. So I'm looking for guidance.
So I will sort of do my best, and then if our city attorney wants to chime in, he can. So we have our city code, and occasionally your Washington State Supreme Court will trump our city code. And with respect to campers, they have trumped our city code and basically have said, if that is a person's house, we do not have the ability to tow them.
Tow them, correct.
So Steve, do you want to chime in on sort of the difference between our city code and what the courts have been telling us we can and can't do?
Sure. Yeah, the court has said that we can't arrest people if we don't have anywhere for them to go. We also can't take their homes and require them to pay fees if that's where they live. If they live in their car. So we're kind of limited that way. However, we can tow if they violate that 24-hour parking rule. And that is the mechanism we've been using to enforce that. So I don't know who told you that they have to move only, more than an inch or whatever, but that's not quite right.
Yeah.
So really, I think it's just a matter of following up with the police department and see what we can do.
Okay.
Mark that the traffic enforcement.
Yeah, Mark reads the traffic, but we'll have Sergeant Miller, who's been doing most of our work in that area, and I'll have Sergeant Miller go out and at least take a look. So make sure you leave your address with Tammy over there so we know the right block to get into. And I'll at least have Sergeant Miller go out and drive around and see if there's something we can do to sort of help. But
Yeah, and I know.
We've had these issues a lot of different places in
Yeah,
our town,
I
and
know.
they sort of go one spot and we sort of move them on and they go to another, and
Right, and just to be clear, I'm not saying to tow them. I
Right.
know the laws, the Seattle and the Idaho or Boise, whatever it is, laws. I'm just saying, please move to a different place. And I'd even be willing to get on a committee to find them a place to go,
Right.
whether it be like the old DOT parking lot
right.
or lighthouse or something. I feel for them. I have great sympathy for them. But to be on public streets, they need a place to go.
And this has been ongoing around here for 2 or 3 years, and we're
Yeah.
trying to do our best. So
Okay, well,
I will
I'm
get it
just-
off to Sergeant Miller and he'll see if there's something we can do.
Okay,
Okay,
thank you.
you bet, thank you.
Thanks for coming in.
All right, come on up, all the way up.
Hello, council members, mayor. Thanks for your service to our community. My name is Cassandra Slemmer. I'm living over Washington Park area. And I'm here, I am the chapter lead for North Central Washington's chapter of Fairbuilt, Washington, and wanting to talk to you more about an idea called ranked choice voting. Ranked choice voting, I think, has a lot of potential to help heal some of our political divides and the polarization that we're seeing become increasingly prevalent. It is a system that's been explored and studied around the country and in other countries with some really interesting results. It increases collaboration between candidates for office. It incentivizes them to become more moderate in their approach instead of appealing to a base, because the incentive is to mandate a majority approval of whoever wins in office. It offers a lot of conciliatory language in elections, because instead of attacking, you do want to win every voter. You are trying not to just be someone's first choice, but maybe their second choice or their third. So there's no voter that someone rules out in the process of campaigning. And it has a potential for cost savings. So there's a lot of different benefits to the system. And right now there's a House bill in the state legislature, House Bill 1156, that would, similar to a provision in Utah, make it possible for local jurisdictions within Washington to implement ranked choice voting if they choose. It's not a mandate, it becomes an option under that law. That is something that I would love to provide some information for you on today, some pamphlets and research for you to look over, and ask that you consider potentially voting in a resolution to support that bill, to let our legislatures know that this is an option we would like to have to increase competition. Third-party independents have a greater chance of being more viable in an election with these types of measures. And I think seeing the political climate that we've been through in the last number of years, having some sort of moderating force and incentive would be really healthy. And if there's any questions that you have or information I can also provide in follow-up, I would love to do that.
This is the first I've heard of it, so I'd like to get your information, so make sure you get Tammy enough pamphlets for all of the council members and myself to be able to read. And then, as you know, we just went to districts just a couple of coffee ago, 4 years ago, 2 years ago, not very long ago. So I think when you look at local government in this area, we are as progressive as any, because your county commissioners haven't done that yet. East Wenatchee hasn't done that yet. So I think this body has gone as far as any in this region. And so I'm interested to sort of read about this, and we'll spend some time at least discussing whether or not it's something that we would want to support.
Appreciate it.
First I've heard of it though, so thank you for bringing it to our
My
attention.
other recommendation is somehow, everything seems to come here. And my recommendation is that you speak and get on the agenda, if you will, of Our Valley, Our Future, which is the regional dialogue that would cover soup to nuts, the counties, the other cities, and the school districts, and all these other special purpose districts, because, in my correspondence on this issue, it isn't just the city of Wenatchee. And when we talk about divisiveness, frankly, there's no divisiveness among this nonpartisan group. I see divisiveness among the political parties, and those are inherent in the two courthouses. And I think that's really the nut that we really need to approach as well. And so I got to thinking that Our Valley, Our Future, as this broader dialogue group, would be a great place to get in contact with. Is it Steve Maher
Steve Maher
still?
still, yeah, and we can get you his
coordinator?
contact, yeah.
Yeah, that's a great recommendation.
Yeah, to get that dialogue out through that format. I think it would be, it would be much far reaching than just here.
Yeah, and I think for the sake of the House bill, knowing that there's localities like the city council who would have interest in that option, that's where I see a lot of the relevance coming in for why I'm here today. And that's what I will definitely follow up with them.
Yeah. Good.
Thank you.
Great, well, thank you for being here tonight.
Thanks.
Anybody else wish to address the city council on anything that's either on tonight's agenda or anything else that comes to mind? Seeing no other takers, we will move on to our agenda items. So our first item is a contract with ARC Architects to oversee construction downstairs in our City Hall remodel. Hello, Alyssa.
Not to the microphone yet. Good evening, Mayor, Council, Alyssa Webb, Facilities Manager for the Public Works Department. At our last council meeting, we approved the capital budget and the construction contract for the Wenatchee City Hall redevelopment project. It was approved by council. The next step is to now receive contract approval for the construction administration and post-construction services. ARC Architects, the project's design firm, has presented an amendment proposal in the amount of $426,640 to perform these CA, which is an abbreviation for contract administration and post-construction services. This cost was incorporated into the capital budget approved a couple weeks ago. CA services typically range from 15%, 5 to 15%. This comes in at 5%, so it's within industry standard. Staff recommends that City Council authorize the mayor to sign the contract amendment number 5 to the professional service agreement with ARC Architects for the construction administration and post-construction services for the Wenatchee City Hall redevelopment, project number 1716. Are there any questions?
So ARC is not a local company, so do they plan on having people over here regularly, or how do they plan on sort of going through the construction and follow-up and all that sort of stuff?
Correct. They plan on providing staff to come over once a week
Okay.
to oversee. And their consultants will also come over as needed.
Okay.
And if I recall, when we first started initiating this process, we anticipated that we would be doing a series of contract amendments with ARC as the project moved along.
That is
So
correct.
this is just pretty much following what
This is that
we
final
thought we were going to
phase.
do however many years ago that was.
All right, any questions for Alyssa? If not, I would entertain a motion.
Your Honor, I move for City Council to authorize the mayor to sign contract amendment number 5 to the professional services agreement on behalf of the city with ARC Architects for construction administration and post-construction services for the Wenatchee City Hall redevelopment, project number 1716.
Second.
Motion by Councilmember Harold, second by Councilmember Huffaker, to authorize the mayor to sign the contract amendment number 5 to the professional services agreement on behalf of the city with ARC Architects for construction administration and post-construction services for the Wenatchee City Hall redevelopment project number 1716. Discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you, Alyssa.
Thank you, Alyssa.
Now we'll move to item C, which is the 9th Street water. Hello, ladies.
Hello.
Oh, I gotta find it in my packet. There we go. You gonna introduce our new employee?
Yes, I'm happy to do that. Good evening, Mayor and Council. Jessica Shaw, Deputy Public Works Director, Utilities. And I'm excited for Darcy Mattiota, our utility planner, to be here tonight, giving you this presentation on our 9th Street Stormwater Basin study.
Welcome.
Hi, thank you for having me.
Welcome.
Hi. So I'm here before you tonight to request the action that the City Council approve our professional services agreement with Osborne Consulting, who we've selected for our 9th Street Basin Water Quality Retrofit Planning and Design Project number 2101. And we hope that the mayor will authorize that with his signature. This is a grant project that the city has gotten design and construction money for. The 9th Street Stormwater Basin includes approximately 500 acres in the city of Wenatchee. In the lower part of the basin along Ringgold Street, between 5th and 9th Street, the city's stormwater system is tied into the number 2 canyon drains. The goal of this project is to remove the municipal stormwater discharges from the canyon drain and add water quality treatment to 9th Street stormwater system. And this was awarded through the Department of Ecology to evaluate our options and develop potential projects in the basin. If this goes through, we anticipate that we could go out for a construction grant March of 2022.
Okay.
So we hope that this study is going to bring us options, and we hope to choose one of those options and take that forward to resolve some of the stormwater quality issues in that area.
That has been a stormwater problem for us for a long time, so I know Councilmember Huffaker kept asking about, when are we gonna do that one? When are we gonna get that one
Well,
done?
yeah, because, I mean, we actually
Yeah.
approved to get something done, and
Right.
then,
Yep.
as I recall, the cost of doing it came in way higher than we had anticipated.
And the
there was
engineers
some
didn't
other
like the
issues.
answer, yeah.
We had some design issues, the pipe, we didn't have enough cover
Yeah.
over the pipe to be able to drain the water
And-
out of that area. So we're
and the-
hoping to come up with some better solutions through this process.
That's good, because we were making, we on the council didn't know that we'd rejected those, and we were making promises.
Yowza.
And when I saw that the street had been overlaid and not immediately torn up, I knew that something was amiss.
So this is the start.
This is the start. We hope to
The
come up
second-
with some
the
solid
second start.
answers.
This is gonna work. This is gonna get to the finish line though, because we're gonna
Okay.
have some good options.
Yeah, we definitely need to get something done in there. It's a bad area.
Jessica, I'm not sure if this is a technical question that doesn't make any difference, but in terms of the volume and flow and so forth, how much does that add to the load on the plant? Does this, it seems like, the reason I'm asking this question is it seems like in the last, maybe 4 or 5 years, we've done a lot of development and extensions and so forth and so on, and the plant is finite.
Yeah.
So we've always kind of said we've got plenty of room, but do we still have plenty of room? I guess that's the ultimate question here.
Yes, at the wastewater treatment plant, we still have plenty of room. And thankfully with this project, the stormwater will not be going to the treatment plant, though that was one of the options considered because
Okay.
there was not enough gravity storm line, and the gravity storm lines that we looked at building The pipe was just too big to be able to carry the water out of there and couldn't get it into the ground with enough cover, and it was very expensive. So this is for addressing stormwater. And so we do have areas of our stormwater system that are tied to the sewer system. So you're exactly right. Those places are of great concern to us. And so we have other projects that we're working on to try and look at how do we get the stormwater system, how do we get that off of the sewer so that stormwater doesn't go to the wastewater treatment
I see.
plant?
Okay,
Because you're
okay.
on the right track, that the stormwater does bite into some of that capacity that we have at the treatment plant that we'd love to give to growth and not to rain events.
Is most of that in downtown where the roof drains go into the sewer system?
Surprisingly, it's all over the place.
Okay.
So there's subdivisions around the high school, around the hospital, there's downtown, there's even some on the north end that have storm tied into sewer. So
Okay.
it's definitely something that's on our list to be working on, and we do have some projects in our sewer CIP list to remove some of those connections, and in stormwater CIP as well. So it's kind of one of those mix of stormwater, sewer, utility. It's actually a win for both of them because we get stormwater infrastructure and we get that stormwater off of the wastewater treatment plant. In this case, the big benefit is right now, because there is no municipal stormwater system in this area, especially the lower part of the basin, which is that Ringgold 7th area, the water just goes into the little tiny canyon drain and it doesn't quite make it in there. So there are floods all over the place. So our goal is to use some of these water quality, which is kind of a win-win. Not only does it improve the quality of the water, but it also keeps the water out of the stormwater system. So you're looking at infiltration options for keeping the water on site in different places in that basin. And so that's where we can take advantage of improving water quality, get water quality funding from the state, and reduce our flooding issues all at the same time.
Does that include some stormwater ponds perhaps on the college property?
Perhaps,
Because that
yeah.
stuff sort of drains into either the ditch or our system at some point.
Exactly, yes. You're right on.
Okay.
Thank you, Jessica.
Yeah.
All right. If there's any other questions, I would entertain a motion.
Your Honor, I would make a motion for the council to approve the professional services agreement with Osborne Consulting Incorporated for the 9th Street Basin Water Quality Retrofit Planning and Design Project number 2101 and authorize the mayor's signature.
Second.
A motion by Councilmember Kulas, second by Councilmember Esparza to approve the professional services agreement with Osborne Consulting Incorporated for the 9th Street Basin Water Quality Retrofit Planning and Design Project number 2101 and authorize the mayor's signature on the agreement. Discussion?
Just one other quick thing, the consultant, Osborne Consulting, are they a firm, have we used them before?
We have not used them before.
Okay, I didn't recognize the name. There's a bunch of them that are kind of
Yeah.
frequent flyers, but
Yeah.
I didn't recognize this one, so.
We're actually very excited about working with this firm. One of the things that we struggled with the past with some of these ecology grants is ecology has certain formats and timing that things need to be in. And so some consultants that we've worked with have struggled with that. Osborne has a record of a lot of projects with ecology, and they really understand the Department of Ecology's formats and templates. And so we're really hopeful that this will really help get this project moving quickly. And they've been very encouraging. Their timeline was, they hope to be done this year with some of the planning. So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
That
Very
is what
good.
we thought. So
Yes.
We're excited.
Good. Thank
See
you.
how they do.
Any other questions? Hearing none. All those in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thanks, Darcy. Welcome to the city. Thanks,
you.
Jessica, as always. Jacob, flashing beacon crosswalk light thing.
That's the technical term. Good job. Good evening, Mayor and Council. Jacob Heiler, Engineering Services Manager. I'm here tonight to talk to you about a project at the intersection of Miller and Montana. The city received a $244,000 grant from the Highway Safety Improvement Program back in 2019 to install rapid flash beacons, upgraded lighting, a curb bulb out on the east side of that intersection, and then some miscellaneous stormwater improvements that are required as part of that. And so this location was a candidate for this grant, unfortunately, because of a serious accident that took place in 2015. This program is divided into a couple categories. One of them is addressing areas that have had serious or fatal collisions. And so this one fit the bill for that. The project has been designed over the last couple of years, and we had a small right-of-way acquisition at the northwest corner that took a little bit longer than that. The right-of-way acquisition went well. It just tends to drag out the timelines on projects. And so anyway, we advertised the project on April 13th and received 2 bids. JM Pacific out of Moses Lake was the low bidder at a price of $143,651, which is roughly 2.5% below our engineer's estimate. If the project's awarded, we expect it to begin in late June or early July. The timeline for the project's about 6 weeks, and so we expect that all the groundwork will be done by the time that school starts in the fall. With the procurement of materials, some of the electrical items might take a little bit longer than expected, but foundations, concrete work, et cetera, will be done late August, and then we'll be able to get those flashers up as soon as they come in. So with that, staff recommends that we award the project to JM Pacific, and I'm happy to take any questions you might have.
Are you bulbing out on all 4 corners, even though there's only 2 corners there?
No, just the east side along
Okay.
Triangle Park. So on the west side, there's a bike lane on Miller that runs through there that
Okay.
doesn't allow us to bulb out.
Got it.
So yeah, just that, I guess it would be the northeast
Yeah, okay,
quadrant.
south on the eastern, or the western leg, okay.
Yeah.
Perfect. Okay. Can't believe they're this expensive. Man.
Yeah.
Any questions for Jacob? If not, I would entertain a motion.
Well, Your Honor, I'd make a motion for the city council to award the construction contract for the South Miller Street, Montana Street pedestrian crossing, project number 1912, to JM Pacific Construction, Inc., in the amount of $143,651, and authorize the mayor to sign the contract documents.
Second.
Motion by Councilmember Bailey, second by Councilmember Cuevas, to award the construction contract for the South Miller Street, Montana Street pedestrian crossing project number 1912 to JM Pacific Construction Incorporated in the amount of $143,651, and authorize the mayor to sign the contract documents. Any discussion amongst the council? Hearing none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, Jacob.
Thank you.
All right, Glenn, local housing program, and then our item B, appointing a couple of folks to the Historic Preservation Board. So we'll let you pick any item you want to go first with.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Mayor, members of the council. Let's go with the Historic Board first. We have 2 empty positions. One is Holly Lynn, who's would be filling a vacant position left by Stacy DeMastra, and Heather Austin, who'll be filling a position to the end of the year for Glenda Travis. We are excited about both candidates, and the Historic Board unanimously recommended their appointments. And I think a lot of you are familiar with Heather's background. We're really hoping that she gets a taste of it and stays longer because she has some great expertise in historic preservation projects.
And they have remodeled the house in that area very substantially, so I'm sure she's very aware of what she's getting involved in. Yeah.
Correct. And then the other owner has an older craftsman that she's been working to retain the historic features. So very pleased that they submitted, and pleased to provide a recommendation that you consider appointing them.
All right, any questions for Glenn? If not, I entertain a motion, and this will be for item B on your agenda.
Your Honor, I'll make a motion for City Council to approve resolution number 2021-26 and 2021-27 respectively, designating 2 voting representatives, Holly Lynn for a term ending December 31st, 2024, and Heather Austinson for the term ending December 31st, 2021.
Motion by Councilmember Esparza, second by Councilmember Hornby, to adopt resolutions 2021-26 and 2021-27 respectively, designating 2 voting representatives, that being Holly Lynn for a term ending December 31st, 2024, and Heather Austinson for a term ending December 31st, 2021. Discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. And item E then, local housing program. What's happening, Glenn?
So as the council members are aware, there's a transitioning of the management of the Chelan Douglas homeless program from the city of Wenatchee to the counties. But a portion of the funds, which are called local homeless funds, which are collected by Chelan County, we actually, as a city, have the opportunity to collect a component of those for our use in local homeless programs and our efforts. And so the proposal before you is to have the county allocate those to us for our programs that we will be working on. The amount for, if we were to take 2021 and look at what we might get for 2021 as a whole, it's not the case. It wouldn't start till August, but in 2021, the amount would be $185,991. So it's a significant amount. That's taken out of the whole amount that had previously gone to the Chelan Douglas programs. So, for example, in 2021, the estimate is $780,000. That would be reduced to $594,000 as far as what the county share would be if we were looking at the whole year as far as an estimate. So the proposal is that be managed as part of the process along with the local tax that was just approved by both jurisdictions, and we're working on that interlocal and a process to administer those. Would stand for any questions you might have.
So the task force has sort of had, not control, because ultimately it was us and us going to them, but there was the pot of money that included, will this be included in the task force pot to give us recommendations, or are we just going to keep it out of the task force realm altogether? What's staff's thought?
So this would be managed by the city. The proposal that will be coming before you is, in order to do this, we would have our own version of the homeless plan to manage that. And we needed a body anyway, a process to manage the funds under the interlocal. The thought is that we can combine these funds along with the 1590 funds and have a task force that reports and is obligated to the direction of the councils.
Okay, so this won't be part of what the regional task force would be applying to be able to help sort of figure out where to go.
So it would be separate, but at the same time, with a recognition that it's a continuum care. It's, we need to pool our efforts in the valley.
So we can plug whatever gaps we might feel like are happening if the county goes a certain direction with some of that money.
Exactly.
Okay. All right,
Glenn.
any questions for Glenn?
Yeah, Glenn, the estimated amount that you gave there for what we would have gotten this year, we started sooner, $185,000. How is that number arrived at? Is it yeah, okay.
It's very complicated, and it's an exercise.
Does this come from recording fees?
Recording fees, there's real estate excess tax collected. It's a very complicated calculation. We could bring Brad the finance director into the room to explain it. I've heard it a number of times, and with my liberal arts brain, it sort of goes in one side and outside the other. But Brad and then Steve Smith have gone through it and put a resolution before you that sets up that calculation.
I guess my question is, you said that the total amount was what, 700 and something?
The estimate for 2021 is about 780,000. In comparison, last year in 2020, if we had taken this amount, it would be about 165,000.
The rest of it stays with the county, and this is the amount that's eligible for the city to take.
Correct, yes.
I guess my concern here is, and I'm kind of with you on whatever the formula is, it's probably way past my pay grade. But per capita, or is it anything like that, like a per capita or head count? Because I guess what I'm looking at here is that there's a $780,000 and we're getting 185, and yet we probably account for half
It's,
of the homeless
But I
population in
think
the
it goes
county.
back to the thought that counties control the homeless dollars under state law. The counties get it all, and there's a provision someplace for the cities to siphon off if they feel it's appropriate. And I think you just got to come from the spot that it's all counties' money, right?
Okay.
And they're in charge of it, and we just have to sort of bless that. And if there's a provision for us to sneak a little out, in this instance, there appears there is. And I think it's smart for us to sort of have it, because I think we have some spots where we're going to find a spot where that's going to need to go, because as the county takes control of the homeless funds, they have ideas that are different than our staff's ideas. And I think we're going to need that to fill in a gap or two that will become more apparent as we go later on in this year.
and with
That would be
these,
my guess.
with these provisions and, doing a tweak, a more narrow homeless plan to the efforts we're doing, we also would have the ability over time to apply for state commerce grants for homelessness as well. Should we find something that's helpful, like the low barrier grant that will continue to be with the city for homeless shelters, which there's about 575,000, which we can apply towards the sleep centers.
Just
Any other questions? If not, I would entertain a motion.
Your Honor, I make a motion, City Council to approve Resolution number 2021-24, electing to operate its own local housing program.
Second.
Motion by Councilmember Hornby, second by Councilmember Harold, to approve Resolution 2021-24, electing to operate its own local housing program. Any more discussion or questions for Glenn? Hearing none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thanks, Glenn.
Thank you.
Appreciate you getting that.
Yep.
Thanks.
So we have 3 public hearing items tonight. So for public hearing items, we will first hear from staff. We will then ask questions of staff. We will turn it back over to the council for any questions they have, open up to the public for any comment, and then back to staff for any action. So our first is regarding the Reinhardt annexation on Skyline Drive. So
Yes.
Brooklyn, welcome.
Thank you. Good evening, council members. So the first public hearing is for the Reinhardt annexation, which is on Skyline Drive. And ordinance 2021-17 is required for us to formally adopt the annexation boundary and all the indebtedness. The 60% petition that is required to meet with the owners, they have to sign to be able to have the valuation be at least 60%. That has been confirmed by the county. This is an opportunity for any homeowners or public to comment on the ordinance itself. Adopting it will begin the process for a 60-day period where the utility agencies in the city and everybody gets to kind of update all of their systems, the county as well, and then after that 60-day becomes effective. So this annexation would be in the city within 60 days of that notification going out. The resolution that was adopted just 2 weeks ago was the identified the map, and I included a map this time. So I wanted to just draw attention to that just because that got left out of the
First
agenda.
thing I checked.
I did, yeah, I like checked 4 times or something. So I just wanted to draw attention that accompanying this ordinance is the map to identify that area.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Always good to have a visual.
I agree. Yeah.
Right, does the council, and for those that are in the audience, this is the 4th time we have seen this, so don't be surprised if we don't ask questions, because annexations we have to see for separate occasions. So you guys have any questions for Brooklyn on this particular procedure?
The only thing is it's fine. I have no problem with it, other than it, creates some islands that we try to not do that and try to get rid of them, and now we've created some more, but it is what it is, so I'm good to go.
All right, any members of the audience wish to address the council on this public hearing item regarding the Reinhardt annexation? Seeing no members of the public, I'll turn it over to the council for any action they may be willing to take.
Your Honor, I make a motion for the City Council to adopt ordinance 2021-17, providing for the annexation of unincorporated lands located on the south and east side of Skyline Drive, bordered to the north and east by parcels in the city, and to the south and west by urban growth area boundary known as Skyline Drive, subject to the provisions of the ordinance number 2007-34 and all subsequent amendments thereto.
Second.
Motion by Councilmember Huffaker, second by Councilmember Bailey, to adopt ordinance 2021-17, providing for the annexation of unincorporated lands located on the south and east side of Skyline Drive, bordered to the north and east by parcels in the city, and to the south and west by the urban growth area boundary known as Skyline Drive, subject to the provisions of ordinance number 2007-34 and all subsequent amendments thereto. Discussion. Hearing none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. And now for the massive next one, the Martinez annexation.
This one's small.
That's why I seized the term massive.
Okay.
It was a joke.
I'm like, oh no, do I have the wrong one? Oh
Sorry,
gosh.
Brooklyn, I just, it's
I'm
one
like,
lot. And I was
there's
just
so many
sort of,
annexations happening.
I was making a joke, sorry.
I was like, well, we do have a massive one, so I'm like,
Oh, now Brooklyn's mad at me.
oh my gosh.
Sorry.
No, I'm just, don't want to forget a map and then bring the wrong one. Okay, so the Martinez annexation is in the same place as the Reinhardt in terms of process. The resolution was adopted 2 weeks ago, and again, this evening provides the opportunity for the homeowner or any owners. There's only one outside of the small chunk that Chelan County owns that is going to be included in this one. And I didn't mention the last one, but notice was posted in the Wenatchee World and posted on site for both annexations.
Great. Any questions of the council? Any members of the audience wish to address the council on this public hearing item regarding the Martinez annexation? Seeing none, I will turn it over to the council for their action, if any.
Your Honor, I'd make a motion for the City Council to adopt ordinance 2021-18, providing for the annexation of unincorporated lands located along the west side of Mission Street, bordering city parcels to the north and unincorporated parcels to the west, south, and east, known as the Martinez annexation, subject to the provisions of ordinance number 2007-34 and all subsequent amendments thereto.
Second.
Motion by Councilmember Bailey, second by Councilmember Hornby, to adopt ordinance 2021-18, providing for the annexation of unincorporated lands located along the west side of South Mission Street, bordering city parcels to the north and unincorporated parcels to the west, south, and east, known as the Martinez annexation, subject to the provisions of ordinance number 27-34 and all subsequent amendments thereto. Any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thanks, Brooklyn. I'm sorry to confuse you.
No, you're fine.
Bad.
We have so many annexations. It could have happened.
All right, our next public hearing item is regarding a development agreement between the City of Wenatchee and the Wenatchee family. So, Rob, turn it over to you. It's trying.
Halfway there. Good evening, Mayor and Council. Rob Jammerman, Public Works Director. I'm going to give a brief overview of the proposed Wenatchee Development Agreement. The Wenatchee property is approximately 4.1 acres on the north end of Broadhurst Court. It is highlighted on our map here in yellow, currently bisected by emergency access easement with a gravel road. Approximately 1 acre of the parcel cannot be developed due to steep slopes in the ravine to the west. The Wenatchees have proposed to build one single-family home on the parcel near the north property line. It's on the map here in your packet. And it's west of the emergency vehicle access easement. The city owns Tract C on the north end of Broadhurst Court, and we have a 1-foot reserve strip, and that area is highlighted in yellow here. This is a map from our comprehensive plan. Contemplated a road through here. I think this map was added to the comp plan 5 to 10 years ago. It did contemplate that there might be a interim road until further subdivisions occurred to the north. And it spoke to potentially 4 lots with a private road and then 12 lots with a public road. The Wenatchees have come in and, as I've said, proposed to build one home on the lot, and there was no language addressing just the building of one home. So we have been working with the Wenatchees on this proposed development agreement. The development agreement before you tonight would have the Wenatchees dedicate a 50-foot wide right-of-way to the city. It's in your packet here, and it's cross-hatched. The dedication bisects the property, so it creates 2 lots for the Wenatchees. They'll proceed, or their plan is to proceed with the one new home, and then they may build another home at a later date on the east side of the dedicated right-of-way. As part of the development agreement, the Wenatchees would receive an impact fee credit for both lots. That under current impact fees is $7,500 per lot. And then with this agreement, the city will pay Wenatchee $22,000 for the right-of-way that they may use for improvements. The Wenatchees will pave the right-of-way 24 feet wide to the northernmost driveway, which is likely to where their existing home is proposed. And that has to be done prior or as a condition of the building of the home on the second lot, the lot to the east. Staff recommends that the City Council pass Resolution 2021-28, adopting the development agreement with the Wenatchees and authorize the mayor to sign the agreement. Are there any questions? And we have the Wenatchees here if you have any questions of them.
So obviously the city's goal here is to get the access through to get to other properties that might be developed in the future.
It's for the future connection to North Road.
Okay. You guys have any questions for Rob before I turn it over to the members of the audience? Any members of the audience wish to address the council on this public hearing item? Wenatchees, if you'd like to, you can. Don't have to if you don't want to. Okay. All right. With that, I'll turn it over to the council for any action they may be willing to take.
Your Honor, I make a motion for the City Council to approve Resolution 2021-28, approving a development agreement between the City of Wenatchee and James Wenatchee and Joy Wenatchee.
Second.
Motion by Councilmember Huffaker, second by Councilmember Hornby to approve Resolution 2021-28, approving a development agreement between the City of Wenatchee and James Wenatchee and Joy Wenatchee. Any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thanks, Rob. Thanks,
Thank
Steve. Thanks, Wenatchees, for working with us. I know this was probably not what you enjoyed doing, spending money with lawyers to make this happen, but hopefully it works out for you guys as well. So thank you for hanging in there with us. All right, Mayor's report. Couple of things. Obviously, Memorial Day is on Monday, so I will be giving the speech at the cemetery in the morning and then dropping a wreath on the Black Bridge. Of course, this did say 10, so I don't know which one Dick was looking at, but I think that's where I'm supposed to be. I did want to take a quick moment to thank Ruth and Jim. We'll have time later on to celebrate their combined 21 years with the city of Wenatchee or whatever that is, but when you decided not to run and we got through election period, it just sort of hit me that we're losing 21 years of experience here at the end of this year. So hope the next 7 months are great. And again, we'll have a time later on to spend doing that. I will look at my calendar and sort of see what's, I will tell you this from the mayor's perspective, things have gotten back to normal. Grand opening for the Humane Society. So now they're doing, they actually have hired 2 veterinarians. They're actually doing veterinarian work down there for poor families, which is great, and spay and neutering there. And if you haven't been in that facility, it is amazing. So they did this at the old Club Pet, and they have an area they've built now for dogs that are struggling emotionally, and they have dog emotional people to come in and help them. I mean, it is an amazing facility. So they got a new director. Her name is Taylor. We met her yesterday. So that was all great. So I'm trying to think of other stuff. I did tour the Lineage properties in downtown, the port owns, and there was quite a few folks on earlier this week. I don't know if it was Tuesday or Wednesday that we toured all of the Lineage properties with some developers. I did go over to Kirkland last Tuesday or Wednesday and met with Mr. Widener about a number of things. So I had good conversations with him. So we're trying to get Sunny Slope built, and there's some traffic issues up there that we're trying to deal with. So I did do that as well. Got to meet with some church kids last night. That was always fun. I've gotten some interesting feedback regarding the carnival being at Lincoln Park, and I had 30 kids from probably age, I don't know, 3rd grade to junior in high school. And the last question of the day was from a kid who goes, "What's going on at Lincoln Park?" And I said, "Well, first of all, you're getting the carnival at Lincoln Park." They all cheered. They were so excited they could hardly stand it. Then I said, "And we're going to build you a new play area and a BMX pump track and a new soccer field." They were so excited they could hardly stand it. So anyhow, I thought that was an interesting view from the children of the world. So yeah. All right, that's all I got. Laura, anything to add to? Apple Blossom starts next Thursday. They did sign our license agreement. So they have agreed to adhere by CD or Health Department guidelines for all of their events. They do plan a full, I don't know what it's going to look like, but some sort of capacity issues with a beer garden and entertainment starting next Thursday for the full 10 days. Carnival and a parade, which will be a couple of weeks from Saturday. So Linda, anything to add to that?
Not really. I know the beer garden is going to be larger this year because we do have to provide for social distancing. And there is an entrance to the park and an exit, so we can keep people kind of moving through. We have less food vendors this year, but we have quality food vendors.
Good.
And Darcy has done an amazing job working with these conditions and getting everything going, and it's going to be a great festival.
Starting to we're getting close to normal. So
yeah.
And then the city will be starting next Thursday or next Tuesday. Our internal sort of mask wearing is if you've been vaccinated and you can prove you've been vaccinated, you don't have to wear a mask. So that will be the city policy inside the building starting next Tuesday. We'll ask people to visit to go ahead and wear a mask, but it will not be sort of required. So wear one if you want one. But for our employees, if you can prove you've been vaccinated, you won't have to wear a mask. So that will be the city's policy going forward. It's an interesting policy because we're not technically supposed to ask, but that's what the governor has said the rules are. So we're just sticking by the governor's rules. Laura, anything else for the? We do have a Confluence Parkway public meeting next Wednesday. That's what I said, next Tuesday. Okay.
I have Wednesday.
Everything's happening on next Tuesday.
I have Wednesday.
No kidding.
No, hold on.
June
Hold
2,
After the holiday.
that'd be Wednesday.
It is Wednesday. I finally was right once and Laura was wrong. So next Wednesday, so we'll see how that goes. And And how do you, so what's the old baseball adage when the pitcher's pitching a no-hitter and you don't talk to the pitcher?
No.
So don't ask us any questions about infra. Just let it go.
Yep.
Okay?
Yep, Stay away from them.
Yeah, just no questions.
Leave them alone.
Yep. Anything from the council members?
Yes.
Yeah, go ahead, Linda.
We had our homeless task force RFP presentations last week. We started Thursday at noon and went until 1 o'clock Friday afternoon.
Okay.
And Sandra and Glenn and Oliver had everything put together. It was dialed. It went very well. And then June 2nd, we have our homeless task force, the entire task force meet. And we're going to go over the presentations and what the committee is recommending, and we'll vote on the funding at that time.
And you're aware who the county has hired for their homeless coordinator?
They have?
Yes.
Who?
Can I say? It's probably,
I don't know if it's public for them.
everyone else seems to know.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they've hired Sasha Slyman, who has worked for the chamber.
For the chamber?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. So they've hired
That
her
should be
to
great.
take over their homeless stuff and help with their ARP funding requests and that. So it sounds like Sasha will be
She'll
going
be
to work for the
great.
county. Yeah, she's a very smart woman, so excited
Mhm.
for that. And we're excited to have someone that's very smart. So
Yeah.
she got a lot to learn, I think, but
It's not easy. It's a huge learning curve.
yeah, no, it's a lot.
I have to really admire Sandra Van Osten and all the work she's done.
Yeah.
She's absolutely brilliant, and
Yep.
she really knows her stuff. And we've been very lucky to have her.
Good. And Glenn's working hard with some property owners real close to the Salvation Army office. And that may be where our night shelter ends up. We're a ways away, but I think we're looking at a smaller version of that in that general area.
Your Honor, just, you mentioned earlier about meeting with Mr. Wagner.
Yeah.
I can't remember what the time frame was that we agreed to on the
So I
property
think we gave him-
downtown.
we
Are we
gave him-
getting close to having to
Yeah.
redo that?
So we gave him 5 years. I think he's a couple years into it, so he's got 3
Okay.
years left.
Oh, okay.
I did, just again, having casual conversations, obviously the lineage property that we were looking at that was bought by the development company out of Everett, they're trying to flip that, they're into it 3 and it's listed for 11. So I was just sort of poking around his interest in that, just to sort of see. And then, housing, I think, continues to be important. The PUD property at Fifth is going to become available, so I was asking him about his interest in doing something on that property as well. So we had a number of things that we talked about, but he has a 3-year timeline on the downtown property. And at this point, he plans on sticking to that. Between you and me, if he brought a 400 lot 5/2 for Fifth and Wenatchee Avenue, I might give him an extra year or 2 down there if that was something he thought was important and could see the redevelopment with the YMCA, as part of that. So, there's some thought of Wenatchee Avenue sort of starting at Fifth now, going south and having it have the same parking and same street lights and streetscape and all of that, and having something to say, here, you're in downtown. So again, just talking, I don't know whether he's interested in any of it, to be honest with you, but I just wanted to have that conversation with him, so.
Good.
Yeah. Anybody else?
So from the chambers
Yeah.
meeting last week, they actually met live for the board members, but everybody else still had to Zoom in.
Okay.
And it made hearing very difficult because of all the echoing. There's some parking issues that they would like to discuss, so I've been trying to set up a meeting with Shiloh to figure out what that's all about.
I think some of the parking issue, Keith, is around, at least what I'm hearing, and again, not to point out anything, but obviously when COVID happened, a lot of the businesses did these outside tents. And if you do an outside tent, and we'll just make an example of Wenatchee Valley Brewing, for instance, which is down by Riverside 9. They put outside tents. They're required to have 4 parking stalls. They currently have 0 parking stalls. we didn't care. We just wanted them to be able to try to stay in business.
Mhm.
So at some point, the rubber has to meet the road. Either the council has to look at some of these parcels and say, it's okay if you don't provide parking because there's other parking in the neighborhood, which would give him some more room. And I think the second part of that is a little bit of the public safety. I mean, are tents allowed all year round now? And can you put propane tanks in them? And that's a safety hazard. So I think these two issues are sort of still there. And I'm not pointing at them in particular because it would be the same for the outside of Garlini's or other places in our town where
Yeah.
these outside areas have taken up sort of some of the parking. And so I think they're interested in having a discussion with us, and I think we're interested in having the discussion with them.
So they've kind of formed a committee to
Yeah.
talk about things like that and then approach us. But I wanted to talk to Shiloh, just get, a better feel for it.
Yeah.
The port has got some real heavy interest out in the Malaga area with some
Good.
businesses coming in there, so that was positive. And then we had a great presentation from the PUD, who is exploring the idea of generating hydrogen gas with the excess electricity that they don't sell.
Oh, good.
So that could bring more revenue to the valley.
Yeah. I know Douglas County's doing some sort of thought on that as well. So I think Brad Hawkins had a bill that passed that,
He's pushing that pretty hard.
yeah, to give a sales tax exemption to those that wanted to build little hydrogen plants. All right, anything else from anybody?
If you have not yet responded to the mayor's office request for coho interview dates, please do so.
Yeah, Councilmember Huffaker, you cannot do your coho dates because you have a contested election, but everybody else is,
Until after the general election.
yeah, I don't know. Usually,
There's dates
Yeah, I don't
after
know.
the general election.
I just remember when I was running, as soon as we got to a point where I had a contested, they were like, you're
Yeah.
done. So, and I have told Coho that anything that doesn't get filled, I will take.
So send that into Melanie and so she can get another list out to us and we can look at it again. What time are those anyway?
7:30, and they're doing them in the studio now. If you're up and go down there and say hi. So, all right. Anything else for the good of the order? No meeting next week, and then I think the week after we'll meet. So
And
we're adjourned.
Yep, we do have our Public Works and
Yes,
that
Yep.
Tuesday,
Tuesday. Yep.
day after holiday.
All right. We're adjourned.